What is up, guys? Justice D Hero here today with another video, and today I wanted to do something a little different. I want to talk about One Piece. You know, the reactions are great on the channel, but I'm gonna start expanding my channel's content. Now we're gonna start doing a lot more One Piece discussions because y'all know in my name I love me some One Piece. So today we are going to be talking about my expectations for Captain Eustass Kid in Wano on the rooftop. Now I'm going to be talking about abilities, things I think he's going to do in Wano on the rooftop against these two Yonko, how I think he's going to contribute in this fight. But if you want to hear my opinion and thoughts, make sure you stay tuned. Without any further ado, let's jump right in. I mean, let's start off with basic portrayal and why I believe Kid needs a serious feat on this rooftop of Onigashima. Eustass Kid has been portrayed equal to Luffy not only in strength, but in ambition as well. We've seen him lift the same amount of stone blocks as Luffy while only being able to use one hand in the Udon prison. Kid is also the only other Supernova who has been confirmed to be a conqueror's haki user, which gives him great significance within the story. I mean, let's look at the other conqueror's haki users we've seen. The greatest, Roger, the king of the pirates, Whitebeard, the strongest man alive, and rival to Roger, we've seen Shiki the golden lion. He caused havoc in Marineford, destroyed half of the place before he was captured. And a lot of people in the community believe Kid will follow that path, but we do not know about that just yet. My point is, Kid is destined for greatness, just like how all the other Conqueror's Haki users in the series have all done great things. And I believe it is that exact greatness that makes me think Kid has to accomplish a huge feat on the rooftop of Onigashima. Now, for what I believe he will do on the rooftop, I want to talk a little bit more about Eustass Kid's abilities so I can explain to you why he will be having this insane feat that I personally believe he should be getting on the rooftop. On Onigashima, we've seen this man use two attacks, Punk, Rotten, Vice, and Punk Gibson. Now Punk Gibson wasn't anything too special, but I want to talk more about his Punk Rotten form. On the rooftop, Kid stated that he could not hurt Kaido's skin, so he said he'd crush him to death, and that is when we seen him use Punk Rotten Vice. Now that attack looked insane. We seen it crush Kaido, but it did not do too much damage. But we can definitely say that that was at least equal to a Gear 4 attack. Definitely, hands down, Punk Rotten, Kid's form is equal to Gear 4. We can definitely safely assume that. In his Punk Rotten form, he has showcased that he can keep his body up constantly using magnetism to hover above the ground. Using this technique, Kid has showcased high mastery of his fruit because he is constantly using magnetism to hover above the ground, so we can definitely say he has mastered his fruit to a decent level. For all we know, he's awakened, but let's just continue on with where I'm going with this. Now that we've got everything we've seen out the way, let's jump into the headcanon, the best part of the video. Now, since we really don't know much about Kid's ability just yet, I'm gonna have to go off of what we've seen, but this is gonna be a lot of headcanon. I believe it should make sense to a lot of the audience. I think it would make sense that Kid on his Punk Rotten form would make his magnetism more powerful. His techniques like Attract and Repel should be able to be used on a much larger scale on Punk Rotten. What I'm thinking is Kid can control as much as all the metal on Onigashima if he were to be an awakened Devil Fruit user, and if not, we can at least assume his range of attraction and repulsion has increased significantly on his form due to the fact that he's constantly hovering above the ground. Being able to float like that requires Kid to use a high level of magnetism, which means it would make sense his attraction and repulsion are stronger on this form. Now, to a lot of you, this might sound far-fetched, but I believe with that ability on Punk Rotten, with his increased repulsion and attraction, he should be able to lift the sword that is sitting there within Onigashima. Now, before all of you go crazy, before all of you say I'm creditless, before all of you shout headcanon, we gotta think about it. The sword in Onigashima is huge. There's literally only 3 people who could even hold it. 3 people whose hands are big enough to hold a blade that big. 1, we got Kid with his devil fruit. 2, we got Big Mom. And then 3, we got Kaido. But for Big Mom and Kaido, we've already seen that they have weapons. We've seen Big Mom's, what was it called again? We've seen Big Mom's Napoleon. We've seen Kaido's mace. They have no reason to pick it up. And plus, we also heard from Marco that that's not what this place used to be called. This place never was called Onigashima. He said that's what they call it now. So I'm thinking there is some lore in this sword. Like, I'm thinking the skull on Onigashima was a living creature that was slain, possibly with that sword, or possibly that creature used that sword. So we can definitely assume this is some type of crazy blade. I'm thinking this is a lot of headcanon here. Like, it's alright if you think I'm crazy or that, but I'm thinking that Kid will use that blade to damage Kaido and Big Mom. If not, maybe one of the Yonko. Maybe just Kaido, but I think he'll damage both of them with that blade. The reason I think this blade can even damage Kaido, first of all, is because I do believe that that blade was used to slay the creature on Onigashima. Whatever used to be on Onigashima, I believe that blade was used to fight it. And if that blade could cut a creature that big, we've seen that skull, that's humongous. We can assume it was a creature like Kaido. We can definitely say if Kid were to use it on his punk Rodden form to attack Kaido, it should do some significant damage. Now, another reason I believe Kid has to do something of that scale is because he's a rival to Luffy. Luffy's gonna be the future Pirate King. Luffy's gonna get a huge feat on this rooftop. He's probably gonna be the one to finish off Kaido. So Kid needs a feat close to that at least. So that's why I believe he will fatally wound Kaido and Big Mom. And he has already proven that he is one of the most resourceful characters in the series. I mean, we've seen him. He uses metal. His fruit is perfect for using resources around you. We've seen the way he's used the random scraps to create punk Rodden. This character, like Kid, he's already proven to us that he is super resourceful. Who's to say he's not gonna grab the sword that's just sitting there asking to be taken to cut Kaido? Like, come on, the sword is calling Kid. Like, it's practically calling Kid. If it's just there for aesthetic, I'm gonna be disappointed in Oda. Like, he has to use that sword. It just makes the most sense. So Kid needs a feat. He's already said that he cannot use Ryo. He's pretty much said it. He said, what is that Haki Luffy is using after Luffy had used Red Rock on Kaido? So it's already stated he can't use Ryo. How else do you people believe Kid is damaging the Yonko? It literally has to be an outside resource. He does not have the Haki. He does not have the sufficient Haki to take these Yonko out. He has to use something that does. Something that has already slain a creature equal to Kaido. And I'm thinking that blade is exactly what he needs. So yeah, my big expectation for Kid is to fatally wound the Yonko, and how I think he will do that is with the sword that's stuck within Onigashima. That just makes the most sense to me at this point in the story. Maybe we'll see and showcase something new, but I'm hoping maybe Kid has something up his sleeve. We haven't seen everything he has just yet. But if y'all enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, because I want to do more of these videos. And if you subscribed, that would be great. I'd be motivated to keep going at it. And as always, people, have an awesome day, and I'll be out. State your opinions down in the comments.